Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Monday, September 14th, and I am joined this morning by Matt Schoolfield at schools_01 and Boomy at Boomy TCF on Twitter. Follow me at ZLilia TCF. Main page is at typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook, type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow us on there. You say go and follow us on all social medias. We put all of our podcasts out. All of our videos out on there. So go give us a follow. Go over to YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Give us a subscribe to the YouTube page. We put all of our morning shows out there, all of our podcasts, all of our interviews, all of our food reviews, all that kind of stuff that we do. We put them out on there. All of our picks are out on our YouTube page. So go make sure you subscribe to that. And then go over wherever you get your podcast from. If it's Apple, subscribe, rate, review. Spotify, give us a follow on there, but just type in Typical Chicago Fans and follow us wherever you get your podcast from. You'll find us on there. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. I got one of the 26shirts.com Chicago shirts on right now. If you want a shirt just like this, go over there. At checkout, type in Typical Chicago Fans, and you will get 15% off of your purchase. Again, Typical Chicago Fans at checkout, you get 15% off of your purchase. They got shirts, they got a hat, and they got some flags over there. So make sure you go over there. You're always helping out a good cause when you buy from there, and you get a discount with the promo code Typical Chicago Fans. Again, that is 26shirts.com Chicago. Make sure you go check them out and follow them on all social medias. Boys, long weekend. How was it? I know Boomy, we had a surprise birthday party for Boomy.
Weekend, yes.
We had a night. It was a beautiful night last night. Or Saturday.
It was like the first night. It was the first nice day or night in like a week. So thank you to everybody that came out, everybody who wished me happy birthday. It did not go unnoticed. So thank you very much.
Very fun night. And then we were Sunday morning. You wake up, and we have a full slate of noon games. You can't beat that. Matty, how was your weekend?
Good, man. Good. Got to watch a lot of football yesterday, and Saturday. Watched a lot of the college games. So the weather was crappy, like you said, on Saturday during the day. So there wasn't much we could do. Did a lot of ran errands and stuff. So easy weekend, but got to watch a lot of football, so I'm not going to complain.
No, like I was kind of saying before the show, college football still feels a little weird, but the NFL felt back to a normal, but we'll get more into that later in the show. We start off this show, boys. Alec Mills throws a no-hitter. We had a crazy Bears game right into this no-hitter. 5 Ks, 3 walks, pretty much just a lot of hard contact to the infield, stuff like that. There was one of the closest calls at first base that would have ruined the no-hitter. Just kind of
Jim Joyce would have called him safe.
Yeah, it was one of those games. He only threw like 115 pitches overall, but you really didn't notice it. They were up 10-0, so it was one of those games you weren't really looking at it. You're watching football, and then you see Alec Mills has a no-hitter through 7. I'm like, we got to turn this on. He kind of breezes through the eighth, and then he kind of breezes right through the 9th, too. And it was a cool thing to see a guy that we kind of he had a great outing on his last start, and kind of finding it, and then maybe this will catapult him into a nice stretch of starts. There are 2 no-hitters in baseball this year, and they're both with Chicago baseball teams, with Lucas Giolito being the other one. Awesome. It was just awesome to see, boys.
Yeah, and we've all touched on, the struggles that he's had and the inconsistency, with him in the starting rotation this year so far, and to see him come out and do that and put it together, maybe that's that little bit of confidence booster that he needs to finish the season. But the best thing is, obviously he throws a no-hitter, but Cubs take 2 of 3, a very obviously convincing win today, and a nice, I think, 4-2 win yesterday, and they're up 4 games in the division. So we got a no-hitter, and we're up 4 games in the division. Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. And it is crazy to think that, the only 2 no-hitters in baseball right now this season belong to teams in Chicago. That's pretty sweet.
I'll let Matty get into it, but There's only 16. This is the 16th no-hitter in Cubs history. The first one since Jake Arrieta in 16. He had one in 15 also. Right? Yeah. He had,
Before that, Zambrano, I think, in Milwaukee was probably the last.
Yeah.
I went to the game.
Exactly
The next day. Ted Lilly had a no-hitter through 5, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
That was that weird
that's
series
right.
where they played.
Ted Lilly,
they played the Astros in Milwaukee because I think it was.
Yeah, Hurricane Rita. I think it was Hurricane Rita.
So
right after
this
Katrina,
doesn't happen a lot in the Chicago Cubs organization. Not a lot of no-hitters. Very cool. But yeah, also cool that the Cubs got some big wins. But Matt, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, you guys touched on everything with the game itself. You know, like whenever there's a no hitter, you always start seeing some of the articles about like a player's past, and they start diving into the background of a guy and things like that. And so I don't really pay attention when it's not one of my team's guys. I don't really care if it's not like a guy that was on my team. But you start reading about Alec Mills, and it's like,
Seems like an
this
awesome
guy was a walk-on. He was a walk-on at University of Tennessee Martin, which is like a really, really small Division I school for some sports. And I know exactly where it's at. My grandparents live like 15 miles from there. That's the biggest town near them is Martin. So I know exactly where it's at. I've stayed across the street from the campus. It's a cool little town, and to know like Alec Mills is like, pitching a no-no for the Cubs coming right from that little college. It's a pretty neat story.
Seems like an awesome dude.
Yeah, he seems like a really good guy, and he's had some rough starts here and there, but he's also had some really damn good ones this year too, and he's been a huge asset for that rotation. He's sucked up, but he's basically done exactly what you'd hope Quintana would do this year. If you look at Alec Mills' numbers and you swap that name out and it says Jose Quintana, you'd take those numbers.
Yes.
And what more do you want from him then? It's a guy that can be in the rotation for a while. You get a game like this for a pitcher, and I think they can build on some confidence and things like that. They know they can succeed at the highest level then at this game, and you just hope like this kid can take it and kind of run with it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just watching Sports Center here, and I'm watching that.
That
push off that never happened.
Unbelievable. We'll get to that.
We'll get more into that though. But you said like Boomy said, a great weekend for the Cubs. And also a great weekend for the other Chicago baseball team, the White Sox. They sweep Detroit. They go on to, yesterday, Saturday, they won 14-0. Pretty easily won the series. Not really much to that. They they extend their lead in the division, which is, I think it's one. Is it 2 games? Or is it 3?
They're up 1 game, but they also have the best record in the American League right now. That's crazy to think about.
Is good right now. They are the Twins, the Indians.
They have a 1-game lead, and they have the best record in the entire league. Like that just doesn't correlate.
No, it doesn't, but it's awesome. The offense is hot. The pitching staff is, like I said, keeping them in games enough to win games. It's a shutout on Saturday. The bullpen's pitching well. The closers. They got everything clicking right. Other than they're in a hard
they have so many
division.
guys. There's so many guys in that lineup that can hurt you.
Yeah.
It's 1 through 9, and
They're
it's
never out of a game.
Right? And they're never out of a game, but they're never really, they always seem like they're in control of the game right now because if this guy's not hitting, the next 2 guys are. And then if Abreu has an off night, then it's Eloy and Robert getting it, or Robert getting it, and if it's not Robert, then it's it's Grandal and McCann going the catcher DH combo that they got, or Abreu's been a monster this season. They're getting everything that they want, and that's not even touching on Timmy Anderson. That guy's he's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah,
and,
I think he's he's still leading the AL at least in batting average.
They've got he led the league last year. It's like
he still is or not.
It's one of those teams, dude, that just seems like everything is working for them. And when a team has everything working for them, it's one of those. They're going to be very, very dangerous in October because they're not afraid of anybody, nor should they be.
And speaking of
Matt, it's funny you say that because Jose Abreu, like you had said, Tim Anderson is first in the AL in batting average. Jose Abreu is 5th, and Jose Abreu leads the American League with 59 hits. Tim Anderson is in 2nd with 53 hits.
Yeah, it's not.
But Jose Abreu is in like the top
And neither of those are their best hitter because Luis Roberts is their best hitter. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. But Jose Abreu is in the top 5 statistically of like every category in the National League.
And then Yohan Moncada. This team is like dangerous. Like this is dangerous. Dangerous team.
Did you guys watch the Cubs game?
I watched the last 2 innings.
Did Rizzo not look like Ian Happ up there? What was that? I don't know what it was. If he had the like red, wrist things on, I'm like, is that Ian Happ? I could not. He usually has like the guard on or something, like the sleeves. I was so confused.
I noticed it when he was in the field and he had the red wristbands, and I was like, wait. I actually thought that too. I was like, wait, is Happ playing first? Like, I don't think we've seen that ever.
And also, ever since Thursday, where we kind of ripped the Cubs offense, they did pretty well this weekend, but we'll take it. We can be
12 runs.
We'll admit we're wrong.
Well, then they get blanked on Friday night, lose 1-0.
The consistency, but they got it going again. They say they take 2 of 3, and they have who they play next.
We got the Indians Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So they got a day off. The day off will be kind of nice for them.
Yeah, day off tomorrow.
So,
just Tuesday, Wednesday. It's just 2 games, and then they get for the weekend. Big series there.
That's
basically
tough
that's
teams
for the division. Basically,
those will be some tough teams there. Matt, let's get into it. Bears beat the Lions in a wild game. They were literally
never a doubt, baby.
Yes, they were a catch away from losing the game. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. They won.
They were a field goal off an upright. They were a field goal off an upright from a loss.
And guess what? We were on the right side of this one.
That's right, baby.
27-23.
Any way you can get them.
The Bears were down 23-6 and come back to win 27-23. Like I said, Mitch played well in the fourth quarter. And
he played unbelievably well in the fourth quarter. It was a tale of 2 quarterbacks.
I want to harp on the first 3 where he didn't look really good, but guess what? He came out with his best stuff when it was time to play, and we won the game. And you just kind of got to move on. It's a W. It was one of those ones. It was ugly. I mean, at that first half too. I mean, that was just the 4 division games were the 4 teams. They played each other, and they were ugly starts for both teams. We were talking about it, and
Packers were down 5 when I first checked the score. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, they had 2 field goals and a safety. The Packers did there.
Yeah.
But they ended up winning. Won some money on that. But Matt,
Packers covered the over by themselves.
I need your thoughts on the game.
It was a tale of 2 quarterbacks.
2 different people.
Mitch was I was calling for Nick Foles if you go and look at my Twitter timeline during this game at one point in the first 3 quarters because Trubisky was so goddamn bad. There was one throw and the GIF was all over the internet and it was a 15-yard throw, strong side of the field, wide receivers just quick little slant. Mitch throws the ball 2 yards behind the guy and it's a 15-yard throw. Like you can't have that. It's the number 2 quarterback in the league. It's the easiest throw in the game. There's bad high school quarterbacks that can make that throw. And you can't miss it by that bad. He had tipped ball after tip ball after tip ball. There was a couple drop picks by the Lions. He was so unbelievably bad in the first 3 quarters. And then I don't know what happened. He looked like Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. The ball he threw to Miller when they took the lead, that was as good of a ball as he's thrown all in his career probably. There was nobody that was getting to that ball outside of Anthony Miller. Miller stretched out, made a great catch on the ball. But that throw was put in the absolute perfect spot with the perfect touch. The only thing you could hope for is maybe they would have killed a little more time because Mitch, for God's sakes, marched down the field so quick. And I mean, the pick helped too, obviously, getting it set up in a good field goal range. Like, what the hell was Matt Stafford doing throwing that ball across the middle of the field like that on 3rd down? Matt Patricia's unbelievably his play calling was atrocious. That field goal from 55 yards out, they did not need just punt him and bury him. What are you doing? What do you give the Bears good field position with under 4 minutes to go? They march down the field and score. They get within one score. Then two short run plays that you can read from a mile away. The Bears get stops on them. Third down, Stafford throws across the middle. The ball's deflected. Fuller's under it, and the Bears are ready inside the 50, and they're going. And now all of a sudden, Mitch has got momentum. The Bears are popping, and the Lions are on their heels. And their defense is tired because they're back on the field again, and pressure's up. Mitch makes a couple good throws. All of a sudden, the Bears are leading the game. So it's one of those things where, Mitch capitalized on the moment, I think. And there was, he rode the wave of momentum that team built, and then that play that Fuller made, but also his own play on the drive before. He was throwing dimes there in the end of the fourth, like the second half of the fourth quarter. He was a different quarterback.
Yes.
They need to figure out how to get that.
Yeah, and
I
would have to push back a little bit and say he was bad, but there were a few plays that were on the wide receivers, and yeah, there were also other plays that he threw behind him, and I'm also screaming at the TV just like every other Bears fan, and it's very frustrating.
I will agree. Jimmy Graham was bad. You and I
and
talked
he had the
about
one
Jimmy
touchdown.
Graham was bad for a while.
Almost actually had another touchdown. So I think Jimmy Graham will actually be a good red zone target. Maybe not where they threw it there, but
I don't know if you noticed. It looked like him and Mitch had a little good, like a rapport on the sidelines too. And Mitch, after the game-winning drive
on the wide receivers.
Graham was kind of hyping him up. You could tell he was like, he was getting him pumped. And it's kind of cool to see, a guy, a free agent that's, he's going to be a big weapon, like you said.
We move on. We are 1-0. That is all that matters on this Monday morning. So I am excited for that. We move on to the Giants at home. What do you want, Boomy?
Hey, I do want to say, though, like with Mitch, though, and this kind of goes back to our Alec Mills conversation, is that, we've talked, since Nick Foles signed in, March, April, the confidence part. And I think that fourth quarter might be, something that he needed, just as bad as anybody to come in and be able to do that. And, they bring in a veteran, you might be, down and out. This might be a thing that helps a guy like out.
You run the ball. You
played
put him
really
in
well.
good spots. You put him in good downs. When they're finally starting to do in that second half, then you see what happens there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the play calling. Also, don't need to throw it when you're just not going right in the moment. But
totally agree.
Let's move on. Let's get a full recap here. It was awesome. NFL Week 1. I had some guys over here watching the game today. A great atmosphere with this yesterday. With the NFL Sundays, you wake up, especially with the Bears play for like the first 7 Sunday at noon games. So that we'll wake up on Sunday mornings. There was a lot of the games, noon games today. Bears led off with the 27-23 win. Boomy, what else we got?
Yep, let's run down them. The Packers beat the Vikings in Minnesota.
A lot of points. 43 game.
Yeah, Packers, I believe they covered the over on their own. I want to say it was they almost did. It was 44.5. But either way, Seahawks go into Atlanta with a convincing 13-point win. The Browns
Atlanta stinks.
Matt Ryan is bad.
So much hype. And
how about Russell Wilson, too? Russell Wilson had 4 touchdowns. What a game for that guy. Dude. He's incredible.
If you watch him,
he's so good.
He cannot be tackled.
He doesn't make mistakes
how
either.
Is he not?
He does not make any mistakes.
How is he never tackled? Unbelievable.
He's ridiculously
and Carson.
good.
I have him on my fantasy team. Thank you.
Yeah. He had a really good game. I had him on my DFS lineup.
There you go. The Ravens rout the Browns. They're an absolute
stink. Baker Mayfield stinks. Is Baker Mayfield? Who's better?
The Browns are
Baker Mayfield or Mitch Trubisky? You know what I mean, though?
They're the same.
I'm not saying.
We had to stop and think about it.
And I'm not saying Trubisky's this great. I'm not saying anything that but it seems like he has a little bit more in the moment game times than a guy who has Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry out there. Just saying.
Yeah, they were a dumpster. But Baker was 21 for 39. Landry had 61 receiving yards. OBJ had 22. They stink. It's going to be a long year in Cleveland, so hard to feel bad for him.
Lamar Jackson didn't miss a beat either.
Very stinky.
No, not at all. Not at all. The Bills beat the Jets 27-17. The Bills jumped out early there, and the Jets kind of clawed their way back in.
What the hell was Josh Allen doing? He's just throwing the ball to the other team. He's fumbling right in the ball into the other team's hands. He had like 3 turnovers today that were like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, if they were playing anybody other than the Jets, the Bills do not win that game. They played bad.
Yeah,
he didn't want to win that game.
He's ultra talented, at least. I'll say that.
No, I'm not saying he's not good, but I mean, those turnovers were bad.
Yeah, definitely.
The Raiders pick up their first win as the Las Vegas Raiders as they go to
LV. Sorry, Boomy, but what? LV, what was the score?
Definitely, they win 34-30.
34-30. Can I talk
Typical
about
Panthers game. The Panthers
game?
always lose games.
Not
like
the
that.
game.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the game. But Gruden took his hat off, and I'm like, dude, leave the hat on or do something with that $100 million. It was bad.
For one, I totally agree with you on that with Gruden. But the other thing, the LV, I kind of like it. I always love Vegas. It's so cool. It's awesome seeing seeing like an actual pro team outside of like in the NFL, I should say. We got the Vegas Knights,
It'd be cool
an LV logo knowing it's in Vegas.
A Las Vegas football game. It'd be cool
for sure. And that stadium.
Also,
like
virtual fans at the Bears game, pretty cool. It actually worked out better than the baseball game.
It looked better.
Way
I will say
better,
that.
that's what I mean.
It looked better. To figure it out.
Yeah.
It's so weird though. Still, when you think about it, because you get like caught up, like
and they don't do it for like the first 4 rows either. It's weird.
Right, you get so caught up watching the game, like because it's like football's back. You're excited about that, and it's like you forget that there's actually a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Like, wait, those fans look weird. All of a sudden, it's like
perfect escapism. The Colts. Kind of an early season shocker fall to the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew, 19 for 20 for 173
local guy,
yards.
James Robinson out there. He was hurdling guys. That was pretty. He got the start for the Jaguars, and they got the win.
He ran my brother over.
Hey, he's in the NFL, so
Phillip Rivers, the same guy who was with the Chargers, apparently too.
Dude,
where
did
he's
that
like
not
scratching
look
claws, trying to come
look
back.
almost
It's
like
the
Peyton
same
Manning
thing.
out there?
It does.
I mean, no disrespect to Peyton Manning, but
the clock's ticking for Phillip. Unfortunately, it's a guy.
My buddies were like, wait for the interception, and what did he do? He threw the interception. I mean, that is Phil Rivers to a T. Interception in the big moment.
The Patriots take down the Dolphins 21-11. Cam Newton gets his first win.
They look good
as a Patriot. Yep,
I think Cam Newton's the perfect guy to replace Brady.
Yeah,
he's got the right. He's got the right demeanor.
Opposite.
He doesn't care, but he doesn't.
No, but you know what I mean, though.
Like, he doesn't care about that. Like that.
He doesn't play in his shadow.
Right. He doesn't care about.
And I mean, it also helps when Bill Belichick is like hyping you up a lot.
Yeah.
It makes you feel
For
good.
Sure.
Confidence.
He looked good, man. He looked good. He looks confident.
He doesn't lack confidence, and that is what you need in a quarterback.
Not at all.
Totally team formerly named as the R-Words may never change their name ever again. They pick up a 27-17 win over the terrible Eagles. Shout out to my Uncle Troy, who is an Eagles fan, but they stink.
That was bad. I had a buddy who had Evan. He had them in his survivor pool, and my goodness, Dwayne Haskins. What was that? Are Washington football team good or are the Eagles bad, boys?
Hey, if they're going to get 8 sacks from their defense every week, then
Carson Wentz
they're going to wreak a lot of havoc.
Throw the ball away. It's like what?
No,
they're both
Chase Young got a sack and a half though in his debut. So that dude's going to be he's going to be ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah. The Chargers edge out a win over Joe Burrow and the Bengals. 16.
Joey B, dude,
he's
smooth.
If that offensive line doesn't get him hurt this year, he's going to be good. I think he will.
You got Zach 3 times. You're on it, Zach. If he can stay upright.
I mean, the first video we saw of him with his team, he was running away from his own.
Well, yeah, he was getting. It wasn't even the number of sacks so much. It just seemed like every time you looked up, that dude was just on the move. Like he was getting chased, and it was like, I don't know. He's going to be a really, really good quarterback, like Zach said, if he can stay healthy.
Most definitely. After that, we have the Tom Brady era beginning in Tampa Bay. Did not go very well. They lose to the Saints 34 to
I
23.
want to hear a weird stat, boys. This is the third straight game going back to the playoffs last year where Tom Brady has thrown a pick six. 3 straight games that he's thrown a pick six. Good thing the Bears didn't sign him, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to go that
No,
far.
I'm not. Hey, come on.
The one thing I will say, I know, I got you. Don't worry, I'm with you, man. But the only thing I'll say about Brady is if Mike Evans got his first catch of the game late in the fourth quarter, and it was like, I don't know. You got weapons, man, and Mike Evans, he's one of the better receivers in the league from a talent perspective. You got to use him.
Definitely.
But the Saints are
the
good.
Arizona. Yep,
they're very good. They're very
Arizona
good.
Cardinals season off to a hot start. They take down the NFC defending champions in the 49ers 24 to 20.
Kyler
might be for
Murray. He's my fantasy football quarterback, and I think he's going to be good. And
he's a stud.
Can you believe?
He's a stud.
Again, can you believe that DeAndre Hopkins was traded for David Johnson?
David Johnson scored me 19 fantasy points on Thursday. I'm okay with
it. David Johnson's a good running back, but he's a running back.
He's not DeAndre
Hopkins.
He's so good. He's so good.
DeAndre Hopkins is
151 yards
Larry
today.
Fitzgerald, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Christian Kirk, don't forget
this
him.
Cardinals team is going to be.
They got weapons.
I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but they're going to be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, they got weapons.
Staying in that same division, we have the Rams taking out the Cowboys 20 to 17 in the first game of SoFi.
Cowboys stink.
Yeah.
First of all, I know that was a bad call. I'm going to be mad about that. But how do you got to go for that field goal and get those points, and you don't have a tie game, but you go for it on fourth down, you don't get it because you stink. Sorry. I lost some. I just did make me mad.
You're not bitter or anything.
Mike McCarthy, you still stink.
He stinks.
And that's why then tonight we have the Steelers and at the Giants and the Titans at the Broncos.
Boys, can I say one thing? Wouldn't it be we like watching football and we kind of know what we like. Thursday, wouldn't it have been nice to have 2 games on Thursday and then 1 game? I don't like the 2 games Monday night. I would rather have them on the Thursday night.
Hard to disagree with you.
That 10 o'clock game on a Monday night, it looks a lot different.
I'm fine with 2 on both. I'm fine with 2 on both nights, to be perfectly
honest. There were so many noon games you could have.
If you're going to do 1.
I agree with Boomy there. I don't like the 3 games of the late
and
session.
The 9.
Give me more than 3 games.
12 o'clock games there were today.
Especially when you have stadiums without fans, what does it matter?
Right.
I don't know if they were just trying to hype up the Brady by having them only have 3 games there. But you are right. It needs a little more balance.
Yeah.
But
yep, and that is all we have for the NFL this week.
Boys, it's back. I mean, it was awesome. It was the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the Bears winning, then we had the Alec Mills no-hitter right afterwards. It's just football is one of those. It is the first sport that doesn't feel different at all. There's nothing that that is going on. The schedule is the same. I know there's no preseason, but really, truthfully, you didn't really notice it this weekend.
I'm not saying it's like it for the players, but from a perspective
that,
on watching on TV, from my perspective, it was no different. I did not think about the fans one bit, to be perfectly honest. I really did.
If they don't pan to them, you don't even know that there's really stands back there. Like, you can have enough angles that you don't even know that
football is made for It's made for TV, and they don't need the crowd to enhance TV like a lot of other sports do.
What's good, if you have a very nice stadium, nice shots of your stadium on the cameras, that's a big thing right now because they have no fans they have to go to, so they just have big. That place in Los Angeles is amazing. $5 billion stadium.
It's nuts.
Unbelievable.
Hey, it's a place that handles your student loans. Imagine that. They're building a stadium like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
I wonder where they get all their money from.
All that interest money.
Weird.
But, boys, let's move on. We got NBA playoff talk. We had the Clippers and the Nuggets are going Game 7.
Another
Game 7.
This series I did
I did
not
not
see
see it.
doing
I thought
that. I didn't
when
think
the Clippers went up 3-1, I thought this is over with. I thought there's no way. This Nuggets team does not seem like they have enough to get back into it. But guess what? Michael Porter Jr., he got hot. This Jamal Murray, good. Jokic, you can't stop the guy down low. And the Clippers are, if they lose this Game 7, this is a big opportunity that they just wasted. I mean, this team on paper has got to be better than the Nuggets.
I actually have a future on the Nuggets to win the West, not to win the NBA title, just to win the West. So I got a little bit of hope and interest here in the Nuggets at this point.
What the hell were you drinking that night?
If you're
what's that?
I know. What did you see in this team that made you want to bet that?
It was before the playoffs started. I took them and I took them and I took the Pacers.
I
took one of each team that I just kind of just kind of a random kind of hope, shot in the dark kind of thing.
So
it wasn't a lot of money.
They got 68 points out of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Their other 3 starters combined for 9. They got 2 out of Zubac, 2 out of Beverly, and 5 out of Marcus Morris.
I love Joakim Noah.
Winning
I want him to win a title, but I would not mind seeing this Clippers team lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
They talk all this crap from the bench, this and that, and when the team's losing, they're always talking that shit. I think that would be
Marcus Morris on that team. They're bound to. And
Patrick Beverly, which is it's good, but when they're up 3-1, they did a lot of talking, and now it's a Game 7. Anything can happen. The winner of this game will be playing the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and then we got the Heat and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals that will start tonight, which I think will be a great series. I think.
No, that game will not start till Tuesday.
Oh, really? I thought it'd be tonight. That's a long time off. Why is that?
Yeah, there's no games tomorrow. I think it's because the East is so far ahead of the West.
So the Game 7's okay. So there's a Game 7 and the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals on Tuesday. So we have a day off of the NBA. Maybe they didn't want the NFL to get in their way either. That's actually a perfect night too.
Probably that.
Also,
you're probably not wrong.
Poor timing today in that game. A noon game on a Sunday.
NHL game was early too.
You know what I mean? What the heck? Make it like a 5:00 game. You definitely get more people watching it.
For real.
The NHL should have been playing late. They should have been playing very late.
Play the 9:00 game and you'll get way more people watching.
Right. Get the post NFL crowd to tune in.
I just thought that NBA game was poor timing because you really thought, and really and truthfully, I thought the Clippers were going to win pretty handily. I thought they were going to take the series over, but ended up going Game 7, so that'll be nice to have on Tuesday. Matty, what we got in the NHL? What we got left?
Well, we got 2 series that are just about to wrap themselves up, in my opinion. I think. I don't know what's going on in the West. I'm really surprised at what. I'm not surprised that Dallas is about to win the series. I'm surprised at how handily they're about to win the series. Yeah. And it's just been they've basically owned Vegas, and they're answering every time Vegas does anything. They get a little momentum, they punch one in. It's an immediate answer for Dallas. They're scoring immediately in response, and it's got to be deflating to Vegas because they're such a good team. The Knights are. But it's not like the high explosive, super powerful offense. That's not their game. They're going to grind you down. They're going to play physical. They got guys that can score, but they're going to outwork you, and they're going to pound on you until you just kind of don't have it left, and they're just going to then bury you. And they're not able to do that to a team like Dallas because Dallas can kind of keep up with that a little bit. They got some guys that are Jamie Benn is he's a veteran player for them. He's not I wouldn't say he's their best player at this point in his career, but he's big as hell, and he's so skilled offensively. And it's like guys like that can kind of withstand the beating and still just keep producing. And it opens up so much for everybody else when you got a guy that can kind of absorb the big hits and absorb the beating for everybody else. And it's what they're doing is really impressive. I think they're about to bury Vegas in 5 games here. And on the East, it's Tampa Bay they're starting to look like the team that everybody kind of thought would run away with the cup this year. They're unbelievably good offensively, and they're still missing Steven Stamkos too, which is crazy.
Oh, that's right.
He might be coming back for the Cup Finals, possibly. There's rumors for that. But, they're up 3-1 against the Islanders. They won 4-1 today or yesterday, and I don't think there's a whole lot left. The Islanders had a great run. It's been a really good story, but they just don't have the dogs to keep up with Kucherov and Palat and just all the other guys this guy's got.
Matt,
Victor Hedman.
That is, if you don't watch any hockey and you listen to that, you know it all. You know it all.
Yeah,
this man knows hockey. That was Matty Pucks, NHL playoff breakdown. We're coming to an end here, but Matty Pucks will stick around forever. Boomy, do we have a wacky web story for us?
Yeah, we got a weird snake story coming out of St. Louis.
I hate snakes.
Well, you're going to love this one. Experts at the St. Louis Zoo are a little baffled right now as a ball python has laid 7 eggs despite having not been near a male python for at least 2 decades. So it's been 20 years since this female python has been near a male. And in June or July, it laid 7 eggs. And that's not even the weirdest part. They said that it is not abnormal for snakes to be able to reproduce asexually, and they can store sperm for delayed fertilizations. So that's not the weird part, though. The weird part is
that's not the weird part.
This
thank God
2 years old, and that's the weirdest part. They said that 62.
Oh my gosh.
They said most ball pythons stop laying eggs by the time they've reached their 60th, and the guy that works with the snakes said she'd definitely be the oldest snake that we know of in history to lay eggs. So pretty wild things happening with the snakes down at the St. Louis Zoo. So not only is the snake giving birth without being around a male, but it's also like the oldest snake in history to give birth.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Wild. Nature's crazy, man.
It really is.
Stink.
Yeah, I hate snakes. Spiders and other stuff don't bother me. Snakes, no. If it doesn't have legs and can move.
I don't like snakes. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. Nope.
Mice. I've seen you move. The fastest I've ever seen Zach move was when a mouse was running across my basement.
Mice scare me. They scare me a lot.
You could have just got a snake and had the snake eat the mouse.
I don't want either of them anywhere near me. Anything post show, boys?
Actually, yes. Do you guys both listen to Barstool Dog Walk with Eddie?
Mm-hmm.
Every episode.
Okay. Did you guys listen to the one on Friday?
Yeah,
about the missing 411. Did you guys watch the documentary for that?
I've not got to it yet. I have it saved on YouTube.
Watch it. It is nuts. Maggie and I watched it on Saturday night.
Well, maybe we'll have a little documentary review, TCF style.
We watched it Saturday night, and then I listened to the podcast this morning when I was just working in the yard and stuff. And it was nuts, dude. Absolutely nuts. I don't want to talk about it.
Maybe we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we all watch it.
If you guys do watch it, it's called Missing 411. Go find it on YouTube. It's free there. Just has some ads and stuff, but no payment or anything needed there. You can watch it free on YouTube. Missing 411. It's about all these missing kids it basically spans like the last 60 years or so. They go into depth about 5 cases or so of these kids missing out of national parks. And there's this kind of phenomenon about, hundreds and hundreds of kids missing out of these national parks over the years with no explanation and no tracking, and no one really knows how many and who. It's kind of wild. They really go into like 4 or 5 total stories in depth. It's really crazy.
That is crazy. But thank you to Matt Schoolfield at schools_01 and Boomy at Boomy TCF for joining me on this Monday morning. I am Zach Lilia. You can follow me at ZLilia TCF. The main page is at @typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow us on those social medias. Go over to YouTube, type in Typical Chicago Fans, and give us a subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube page. A sub? Give us a sub to the YouTube page.
Just do what you're supposed to do with the account. You all know what you're doing. Come on.
I was like, my brain went just blank for a second, which happens a lot.
No explanation needed. I'm with you.
It happens a lot. But then wherever you get your podcast from, Apple, subscribe, rate, review, give us a follow on Spotify, anywhere else. Just type in Typical Chicago Fans and you will find us on there. Shout out to 26shirts.com. Chicago, again, I'm wearing a beautiful shirt. Said nice, beautiful material, nice and long for me. So that is the shirts. Like I said, you always want a nice long shirt. So you, especially for me, got a little bit of a belly right now. I don't need that showing. So we keep the shirts long. 26shirts.com. Chicago. I don't know if I should talk about my belly in a sponsorship because that may scare the people. But I get my shirts from 26shirts.com Chicago, so no one has to see that.
I got my shipping confirmation. I can't wait.
Yep, there we go. Love it. And if you want to get a shirt, go over there, buy it at checkout. You use Typical Chicago Fans at checkout, and you will get 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout. 15% off of your purchase. Support the boys. Please. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Follow them on all social medias. Anything else, boys?
Let's have a great week.
Let's have ourselves a great week. This has been the TCF Morning Show, Monday, September 14th. We love you all.
Peace. See you.